The Golden Knights are hoping to get a road win tonight in Anaheim following back to back losses, including one on T Mobile Arena ice. We'll talk about it next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. So, Chris, VGK will try to shake off its first home loss of the season after opening up the campaign with 8 consecutive wins on home ice. And that was a very tough loss, to put it mildly. And hopefully they can put that in the rear view mirror as they lost to the Canes, dominated by Carolina 5-2. And perhaps it might have exposed VGK in so many ways. Could playing Anaheim at this time be the perfect remedy for VGK's road woes?
Well, sure. I mean, listen, Anaheim, let's talk about what they've been doing so far this season. They're bottom of the Pacific Division, below the Sharks. There we go. 5-7-2 home ice. They're 3-4, and they got a -12 goal differential. This game meets the criteria of beating up on the bad teams, which the Golden Knights have been doing all season. I got a note sent to me from Chris Condos. It was the Jets coach talking about their hot starts and everything. Jets are doing magnificent. They had a win again last night against the Rangers, Tony. I forgot about that.
Thanks. Mika, uncharacteristically, 3 turnovers, 3 goals.
I saw that on Twitter. That was unfortunate. But
unfortunate,
point being is there are 10. The Western Conference is soft. 10 of the teams, of the 16 teams in the West, have a minus goal differential. 5 of those teams are in the Pacific Division. Vancouver, because they won by 2 or 3 goals last night, went up to the plus side, or would have been 6 of the 8 teams. So benefit of the Golden Knights while they're trying to get some things right. Hopefully they can bank some points against these lesser opponents like the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, it's a 4-point game, regardless of how you slice it. Anaheim's Robbie Fabry, he is out. Cam Fowler, Mason McTavish did not skate yesterday, listed as day-to-day. And Fowler, Fabry, rumored to be perhaps on the trading block, as is Frankie Vatrone. So they are going to probably empty the clip. They're going to try to get as much value as they possibly can. And it appears to be they're going to start making moves now. They need to, for the future of this team.
So it's a very strange situation. Trevor Zegras has had some moments, and there was even a minute when there were some conversations about Vegas maybe being involved. And I saw something on Twitter where it was a scout interacting with somebody, and the scout literally asked if Zegras was still in the National Hockey League. And you look at his stat line, it's a fair question to ask right now. 14 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. So Zegras is living up to that the hype as far as he can do fun things in a breakaway or a skills challenge. But when it comes to hockey, there's a little bit left to be desired. But again, it's still a spot for the Golden Knights. They got to find a way, though, to get 2 points. Do the Golden Knights struggle on the road, or do the Golden Knights struggle against good teams? That's still the narrative that needs to be asked and discussed. And hopefully the Golden Knights are playing a poor team on the road, so hopefully they take care of business tonight.
John Gibson played well this week. It was his first start of the season. He still faced 40 shots, saved 38 at his standard in a win over Columbus. Gibson started off the season on IR with an emergency appendectomy. So VGK missed him in that first meeting of the season. Wanted to talk about special teams too. Huge edge for VGK. Anaheim, 29th out of 32 teams, Chris, 12.5% power play, 6 of 48. And Zegras, who you just mentioned, he was on power play unit number 1. He's been moved down to the second line due to ineffectiveness.
He's going to be playing for this San Diego Gulls pretty soon, the way things are going.
Right.
I mean, listen, we talked about this. Which game was it recently? Where if the Golden Knights can win the special teams battle, they probably win the game. Maybe Edmonton. It was the Edmonton game last week. We said if VGK can keep it even at 5v5, if they won the special teams battle, they'd win the game, and that's what happened. So when you got a spot like this, a poor power play like Anaheim, maybe the Golden Knights play a little bit looser. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go out there and take dumb penalties or anything like that, but there's a difference where if you put last year's Edmonton, if you put last year's Edmonton on the power play or this year's Ottawa or this year's Vegas, you're going to pay. So this is a spot where the Golden Knights hopefully can not allow Anaheim to right the ship with the power play. Back to the goalies here. Lucas Dostal is an interesting story. I'm not sure which way they're going to go tonight with Gibson just coming back a couple games ago, but Dostal, 11 starts. He's 4-5-2 and a 2.73 goals against, but his save percentage is 9.22. Dostal is having a phenomenal season. So point being, if the Golden Knights are struggling here and struggling to find secondary scoring, as we're going to talk about later, Dostal is capable of stealing this game right now if the Golden Knights aren't careful. And John Gibson, same thing. Gibson, you mentioned 40 shots. This is such an Anaheim stat line where they're giving up 35, 40 shots a game. But Gibson has the ability to keep the Golden Knights off the score sheet for long periods of time as well. Differences with John Gibson, I always say this every year about him. He's that pitcher coming off of it's this bottom of the sixth and had a no-hitter going, seeing eye single gets through and the floodgates open. That's John Gibson in a nutshell. You can have the under in a game. It could be 1-0, one of the teams. And then all of a sudden John Gibson can do his part in a 4-minute span, letting up 4 goals. So, that's the downside on Gibson. But again, both goalies for the Ducks are capable of stealing this game. Golden Knights can't go in there with the mindset they're going to beat them just because they're a better team on paper.
You mentioned seeing eye goals. Perhaps one comes from Vegas Bjorn tonight because that's what most of his goals are. Division game again, 2-3 for Anaheim within the division, 5-1-1 for VGK, and back to goaltenders. So to make way for John Gibson, they had to put on waivers James Reimer. Reimer was on waivers, and then he's gone back and forth, and so they're hoping that he lands somewhere for his sake. And
Reimer might have 3 teams by the time the season is over.
Yeah, he might be on his 3rd team. Where was he? Detroit?
Vegas soon enough.
Vegas, perhaps, right? That first win for VGK over Anaheim, not much. 3-1, I think, was the final, and Howden scored. That was the Hurdle power play goal game. Dorofeev had a goal as well in that contest, and Kolasar had 2 assists. But again, this is a team, though, for VGK. They struggled with the season ago. Keep that in mind, that they should not overlook.
Yeah, I mean, part of the conversation from Mark Stone's exit interviews last year about the team putting themselves in a better spot for the playoffs as far as seeding and ranking goes, these are games, these are points you got to have. It's not about getting 1 point. It's got to be 2 points. You don't get 2 points, it's a failure, end of story. I mean, I guess if Dostal or Gibson, steal the game and the Golden Knights have 40 shots with 12 or 13 grade A's, then so be it. That's going to happen a couple times in the season, but it needs to look like a good game, because if the Golden Knights do play their right game, if they do stick to their identity right now, they should run away with this game. Will that happen? I don't know.
Yeah, how much did that last loss really sting VGK? Did it wake them up? And again, were they exposed? You're talking
the
last
about
game
the
against the
Carolina
Canes.
game. I thought you were talking about the Ducks game from last season. No, exposed. I don't know if exposed is the right word. I mean, I don't know. The Hurricanes are a good team. Let's be clear about this. It's the Hurricanes and the Jets right now. That's that top tier, and then there's a lot of really good teams after that. So the Golden Knights aren't in that tier right now. They have injuries. They've struggled against good teams. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Look it up. So Hurricanes come in, take care of business. They were the better coach team that night. They had the better structure. They had the better goaltender of the 3 goaltenders that played in the game. Everything landed for the Hurricanes that game. And do you put a ton of stock into one loss on a Monday on November the 11th? I don't think we're going to overthink that a whole lot. There's going to be games when the team simply doesn't have it. You start going a couple layers deeper. Aiden Hill was good, not great that game. There's no Mark Stone. That certainly matters. Nicholas Hague, I think that's going to be a loss that this team is going to feel for a little while, however long that's going to play out. So we talked, I think it was last Monday's show, is the injury bug going to leave the Golden Knights alone this season? Well, the answer is clearly no. All of a sudden,
No.
Mark Stone, Nick Hague, Samsonov, Theodore missed again. We can go on and on and on about all the players that missed a little bit of time right now. And, is this the snowball right now? Is this the snowball? I don't think Mark Stone, Coach Cassidy said Mark Stone might go on the road trip. He's not. Even if he goes on the road trip, he's not playing. He didn't practice on Monday. So there's a 0% chance Mark Stone plays on Wednesday and a 1% chance he plays on Friday.
Interesting. Of course, we will perhaps see Ilya Samsonov in net tonight for VGK. I mean, sooner or later, Aiden Hill does need a breather. I don't care if there's a day off in between or what have you. He's just been in net too much. What did you say? 5 in a row? What is the number of games?
Let's see here. Utah. No, it was Utah, Edmonton, Seattle, Carolina. So he played from November the 2nd to November the 11th. I will, again, this is a loose prediction, but assuming Samsonov is good to go, even though if Samsonov is good, we'll find out obviously this morning when the reports come out. If Samsonov, traveled with the team, we don't know yet. If Samsonov is available tonight, we don't know yet, but let's pretend Samsonov is available tonight. I'm going to say they run Samsonov 2 games in a row. I'm going to say 2 games in a row for Samsonov. People are shaking their head right now. Remember, Samsonov did have 2 games in a row earlier in the season when the Golden Knights were showcasing Aiden Hill for a couple of games for the Team Canada situation. How'd that work out? Not very well. So the Golden Knights are going to make a conscious effort to catch Samsonov up, whether it's right away off the bat or whether it happens a couple weeks later. There is going to be an effort to get the starts somewhat equaled out because it's clear that the Golden Knights want to keep things like 55-45, 58-42. Math is starting to get harder now. But they're going to want to keep the starts pretty flat. So 2 games in a row, you got Anaheim and Utah, not 2 great opponents by any means right now. The Golden Knights should be able to take care of business both of those games. Of course, the Golden Knights got the game circled on Sunday against the Washington Capitals and Logan Thompson.
Yeah. And by the way, the predictions that I've seen of late have Logan Thompson as goaltender 1 for Team Canada. Well, that's going to get some folks fired.
I don't know what Bennington's numbers are, but Logan has definitely
he might have
deserved.
Started to drop off, Bennington.
I mean, Bennington always drops off. But Logan, his numbers, I mean, he's 7-0. 7-0. Like, what more do you want? He's 7-0, and he's playing behind a lesser defense, according to anyone in the National Hockey League. So there you go.
Who am I imitating? I hate that guy. VGK fan. I don't like that guy. Coming up next.
No, you're only people only dump on March or so because he's struggling. Logan's doing well. They keep quiet.
They're very quiet. Yep. Coming up next, VGK's lack of depth is it showing of late. We'll talk about that as we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and all of that and save 50% off gourmet gifts site-wide at omahasteaks.com. That's omahasteaks.com. Plus, you'll get a $30 reward when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with the promo code NHL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience. And the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. That's $89.99 for starters. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with the promo code NHL. It's the promo code NHL and a $30 reward card when you shop early. Terrific. Thanks for the offer, Omaha Steaks. 50% off at Omaha, OMAHA Omaha. Of course, like Peyton Manning might say, Omaha, Omaha
Omaha.
Steaks, Omaha, omahasteaks.com, and an extra $30 off with the promo code NHL. Minimum purchase may apply. The World Series, the Super Bowl, the Olympics, the world's top athletes get to play in these top level sporting events thanks to one thing, and that is teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, Mr. Golick, and teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future. Select Quote's licensed insurance agents are the perfect teammates when shopping for customized, affordable life insurance. They can find you the right policy to keep your financial legacy safely in the family's end zone. That's right. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. You invest so much time to take care of yourself and to be the healthiest, but the best version of yourself is you. And SelectQuote's exclusive policies can reward that effort. Make sure that you get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Again, selectquote.com/lockedonnhl. Go there today to get started. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. We appreciate you so much for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Is that pretty fast? Okay. And Fridays are WTF. This WTF Friday will be minus me. I'm on the road, bro. What are we going to do?
Winning.
Turn your mic on. Winning? Is that what you said? Winning. Okay. It must be that time of year. Omaha Steaks. It just it definitely reeks of the holidays. So it's pretty cool. So welcome back, Omaha Steaks.
I feel like a big Omaha Steaks gift card I got to figure out how to get rid of. It's like $500. I got it a long time ago. I got to sell it.
$500 and you haven't spent it on Omaha Steaks? That'll go a long way, bro.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Yes. With Mark Stone out for VGK, it has caused the Golden Knights and Bruce Cassidy to try to figure out, perhaps first for starters, a line mate for Jack Eichel. It has also caused a sort of domino effect, if you will. Cassidy trying to fit or replace. Bruce is trying to figure out how to replace, for now at least, Mark Stone. So we see his importance. Jonas Rondbjerg called up, skating on the fourth line, but we've seen some shuffling. Every day we're shuffling with Bruce Cassidy. We got Nick Waugh. He's pulled up on that top line. They even plugged in Alexander Holtz on the top line. We saw late in Monday's game. We are worried about VGK an awful lot and their depth right now. You talked about Nick Hague and maybe how that's impacting the defense. And right now, down a goalie for this moment at least. So a lot of depth issues for VGK. And when you said, let's talk about the lack of depth for VGK, it's not about scoring. They've been able to semi-replace the guys that left town, as Bruce Cassidy would allude to them. They've replaced the scoring, but they have not replaced the depth of this team. And every season, it always comes into play. Then the first name that pops into my head was Brendan Brisson, because he was a guy perhaps they relied on, and now he's in no man's land.
Okay, we can start there. Brendan Brisson, my perspective on Brendan Brisson once the Mark Stone injury happened. The Golden Knights chose to break up the fourth line and elevate Nick Waugh, who had a good game against Seattle. I think it was a 2-point game, if I'm not mistaken. Nick Waugh certainly looks the part. Like, this is not a knock on Nick Waugh one bit. But the Golden Knights decided to elevate Nick Waugh to his unnatural position and bring up Jonas Rondbjerg, who's, I guess we can call a defensive specialist at this point of his career. Helps keep the fourth line somewhat, intact as far as having that player that can play, strong defense and things like that. But the Golden Knights would rather elevate Nick Waugh, break up that fourth line, which gives the Golden Knights an advantage, instead of simply trying a plug and play method with Brendan Brisson, who is a natural scorer. I'm not knocking Coach Cassidy by any means. This isn't a knock on him. This is simply a perspective of how far Brendan Brisson has fallen off. This is the prime opportunity for Brendan Brisson to get a chance in a top line. He's been playing in line 3 and 4 for most of the season. When he's on the fourth line, he's irrelevant. When he's on the third line, he doesn't factor in the outcome of the game. Brendan Brisson on that right side, a left-handed shot like Dorofeev, like Olofsson, could do wonders with Jack Eichel, but the Golden Knights aren't going that direction. So again, lack of depth. Brendan Brisson is supposed to be a depth piece. He's not right now. I don't know if he's even scored a point in the American League yet. They got 8 goals here. He probably was involved in at least one of those goals. So that's the first thing. And now back to that fourth line. You take Nick Waugh off that line. You got Cole Schwindt. He's doing fine out there. Kolesar is doing his job, and Ronbjerg is doing his job. The problem is that fourth line is a mismatch situation because they can score. They can play good defense. They can shut down the other team's top scorer. And Nick Waugh is pretty good at scoring himself, as is Kolesar this season. Kolesar is having a career season. So this is the depth. The Golden Knights have won without Mark Stone for the last 2 seasons, the Stanley Cup year, and then obviously last season they were able to at least find a way to get into the playoffs. Small sample size, the Golden Knights are 0-1-1 without Mark Stone.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know if I don't prescribe to the narrative that they would win these games with Stone in the lineup.
No,
that's
I
been
don't either.
It's been the
It's
state-run media.
Everything changes. No one knows.
Yeah, it's been the state-run media stance here the last couple of games. You got to figure out something there. But outside of Stone, I mean, the MVP of this team, well, for the most part, Jack Eichel, if he were to go down, they would be in a ton of hurt, even though they have that so-called strength up the middle. And there's not much happening on the farm, is there, to bring in reinforcements at this stage, is there?
No, I don't have the Silver Knights win total in front of me. I think it's only like 3 or something. I could be wrong on that.
Okay,
but
yeah.
The Silver Knights have been playing very poor hockey this season, and that's obviously a long-term concern. Now, to be fair, Dorofeev came up through the ranks. Nicholas Hay, going back a little bit, came up, with the Chicago Wolves and everything. So the Golden Knights, Kolesar as well, for that matter. So the Golden Knights have developed some talents in the farm, but not a whole lot. That doesn't mean the farm isn't doing well. The farm is doing its job in developing players, and they become trade pieces so the Golden Knights can get other pieces down the road, like Peyton Krebs, apparently, who almost kept Jack Eichel from being a Vegas Golden Knight. That's how good he was touted to be. Maybe not anymore, but he was, a good prospect. So as far as what's happening in Henderson to help the Golden Knights this year, that's the concern right now. Tanner Lazinski, maybe that's someone we're going to see at some point. But the problem with Lazinski, he's not waivers eligible. So I think if Lazinski gets a call, if he gets sent back down, he's going to have to clear waivers, and that could be a slippery slope now with the season going and injuries piling up for the other 31 teams on top of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Is this the time of year already, or did it start early where VGK begins its annual slide? Is this already that time, do you think?
So what? 27, 50, call it 27 games as far as the middle third of the season. I think that's what we're getting at right now. Golden Knights are only in game number 16 tonight, so there's still 10 games from the middle third of the season right now. And from a year-over-year perspective, this is where the concern comes in. I had a nice up and back with someone on Twitter yesterday. Nothing unpleasant. They were, they were very high on the Golden Knights situation, and I reminded them that maybe the reality is it might not be as good this season. But the Golden Knights, again, this is just a recollection, no stats to back it up at the moment because I don't have them in front of me. But I feel like, actually, I can pull them up right now. I feel like last year's Golden Knights team was beating better teams early on, and this year that certainly is not the case. They've struggled against better teams, and they've struggled on the road. Looking at last year's Golden Knights, let's look at how the schedule started last year and look at some of these victories here. So
was it
Seattle
early? Yeah.
Seattle's supposed to be decent. How about a win against Dallas, win against Winnipeg? Wins against the Kings, another win against the Jets, Avs.
Home ice.
Probably. A lot of these were home ice.
Rigged.
Another overtime loss in Dallas. That's still a good hockey game right there. They 3-game road trip in Canada didn't go well, but they come back and beat Vancouver and Washington. 4-game winning streak: St. Louis, Dallas, San Jose, Calgary, and then obviously the wheels fell off right around. Took till about December 15th last year. So, can the Golden Knights, December 15th ish is going to be an important time, I guess. That's when we can look at things from a year-over-year perspective. So, that, by the way, that's that tough Canadian road trip coming up: Winnipeg, Anaheim, Minnesota. So,
Winnipeg, Anaheim, Minnesota. You said Anaheim.
Winnipeg, Edmonton, Minnesota. I say Anaheim. I mean, close.
Yeah.
They've been playing about the same level.
I was going to say, well, as we know, Cassidy's probably calling Anaheim up there. It's up there. It is up there.
It might be up there a little bit.
Coming up next, we've got our locks of the night and our predictions for this evening's game. Don't go away right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It is America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view the live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com and you can join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. And that's FanDuel.com. Don't forget, there is a big game coming up on Thursday night. Should be a ton of fun as Philadelphia and Washington collide, and you could see the latest odds right there on FanDuel. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for straight out of the penalty box. That, my friend, is a really cool shirt. Of course, that's Chris Jr. there joining the show. You can see him and Pops each and every Saturday sometimes on the Chris and Chris Jr. show. And Fridays are WTF around here. It is time for our locks of the night. And, man, it's been pretty tight in our standings. So I'm in first. My man, Little Chris, in second place. I think Pops is in bringing up.
We're right there. I got to check. I think we're within 3 points now.
Okay. All right. Time for our locks of the night. Let's go with Little Chris, man. Straight out of the penalty box. That shirt is money. Yeah, Little Chris. Jump in there, bro.
Get close to the microphone. Okay.
Who are we playing?
Anaheim.
Who are we playing?
In Anaheim.
Yeah. He's just.
We're on the road. I still don't like our game on the road. Of course, we had a pretty bad game against Carolina. So I don't think Vegas is. I think Vegas can have a 2-game losing streak.
So what's the score?
Let's go 4-2 Anaheim.
Give me 2 players really fast.
I think Theo's gonna have a good game and Eichel.
Theo and Eichel. All right, man.
4-2 Anaheim. Theo and Eichel. That's fun.
Wow, that's pretty good.
All right.
I wanted to go with Anaheim personally, but I just.
Of course you did.
It is a good spot, I think, for VGK. Let's get well. Let's get the hype going again. Big win over Anaheim.
If this gets the hype train going, that's a problem.
If it's a win, they're going to be going gaga again. Oh, what a great win for VGK. Well, they actually would win on the road. But I'll go 4-3 VGK. I will go with Tomasz. Is that how you say his name? Hurdle. And Nick Waugh, who was around the net. And one of the barometers I want to see from VGK, will they play with emotion? Because they were lacking any kind of emotion in the last game against Carolina. They just were not ready for that task.
That could be the narrative or the post game. They had emotion. There you go. What were we talking about? Narrative, bingo card, or something like that?
Bingo card emotion.
How many times do they say emotion throughout the game? The Golden Knights.
Okay, so emotion is on your bingo card. I'm going to go tonight with blue ice. I'm going to go with. We haven't heard blue ice in a minute.
Blue ice.
Yeah, they're going to be VGK will be right close to, of course, to Gibson, right there in front of
Oh,
the
like in
net.
the blue paint, you mean? Okay.
Yeah, the blue paint. Sorry, blue ice, blue
Okay.
paint.
Wait, blue ice, is that a new terminology for bad ice, Tony? Or
Uh, just roll with me. Okay,
I
we
am
will
now.
go.
Now I understand what the heck you're saying.
I yeah,
All right,
it's all
I'm
good.
going to go. I got the same score. I got 4-3 Golden Knights. I don't think they run away with this game. I think it's a choppy game. Type of game where it's tied, maybe 6-7 minutes left. Golden Knights get a goal, and everyone is happy, and that would be good. So 4-3 Golden Knights. I'm taking Alex Holtz till he scores a goal. All right, Holtz is
Oh,
around at every game. I am taking Holtz every single game until he scores a goal. It might be January 14th by the time that happens, but I'm taking Alex Holtz till he scores a goal. And William Karlsson. William Karlsson's been pretty quiet the last couple of games. Exactly. He's been a ghost the last couple of games. Let's be realistic there. So
well,
we'll
he's
see if
had to fight.
Karlsson can get something going today.
He's injured Mark Stone. He had to fight him off to get the Stone to get the empty netter.
Listen. William Karlsson knows not how to pull a hammy on an empty net situation. He knows how to not get injured.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Hey, did they give away the gravy boats the other
I
night?
don't know. I saw him talking about him. I don't know.
I was just like, I was tweeting out, it's
I
all
hate,
gravy.
I hate gravy. I have mashed potatoes without gravy.
No one. Well, you're a dry ball anyway, but
Dry ball.
a dry ball. Okay, no, seriously. I was tweeting out it's all gravy because I thought that it was gravy boat night. But okay. In any event, we
You'll know
appreciate
the
everyone
bingo card, the
tuning
gravy.
in. So you've got emotion. I've got blue paint on my
They
bingo
gotta
card.
want it. They gotta want it.
We're gonna hear this tonight. Oh, this should be fun. And we know that if Bruce says blue paint, Bruce, please say blue paint in the post game.
I mean, they didn't protect it against Carolina, so you'll certainly see you'll see an initiative to make sure that happens tonight.
All right, I'll be out the next couple of days, bro.
Sorry,
man.
Wednesday already.
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
Okay.
So I'm headed to Denver to broadcast. There's a new Nike high school basketball league, and I'm going to be doing some games up there. So I've got long days. There's a few games.
Might be the Chris and Chris show, but a different Chris.
Oh, okay. Oh, teaser time. Okay, so and make sure you slide in. It's all gravy on WTF.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Of course, appreciating everyone tuning in around the globe. Thank you so much, especially our everydayers. And for my man, Chris Golick, and for Chris Golick Jr., I am Tony Cardasco saying so long for now. We'll see you again tomorrow. Well, Chris will, and special guest right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. And please take care.